What's up, y'all? So I'm walking my dog, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna talk about gluttony because I feel like God put it on my heart to talk about it. I'm here to tell you, weed might not be a problem. Hennessy might not be a problem. Sex might not be a problem. It might be food. Yep. It might be the knife and the fork, bro. I know people who eat so much that they can't get anything done. They come home, right? Now, I know you might be like, Corey, who you talking about? I ain't saying nobody. And no, I ain't gonna specify nobody. But there are people who get home from work. I'm not saying anybody specific. I'm not saying my dad. I'm not saying nobody, no. I'm just saying in general. I'm telling you, there are people who get home from work and overeat. First of all, their food choice. They refuse to eat anything healthy, right? I'm not saying you gotta eat fruit every time and you gotta eat vegetables every time. But you ain't never gonna eat nothing that's gonna be good for you. That's a whole nother issue, right? But not only they not gonna eat nothing healthy, but they gonna overeat every time to the point where they fall on the couch and they don't move from the couch all night. They fall on the couch at 8 p.m. and they don't get up from the couch until 6 a.m. the next day or 8 a.m. the next day to go to work. The food is, and like I said, it might not be weed, it might not be alcohol, it might not be sex, don't drink that. It might not be sex, it might not be porn, it might not be gossip, it might not be right? Pride. It might be food, bro. I'm telling you, gluttony, right? I used to be a glutton. And God had to reveal to me. He had to work on me. You know how you do. And he had to reveal to me, Corey, you got a problem with that knife and fork, bro. Had a problem with that knife and fork, bro. I think I'm getting deja vu. Every time I get deja vu, it reminds me that, okay, God, my whole story's already written. I'm just in one chapter. God already knows my chapter. My last chapter and my first chapter. He knows all the... Y'all see that? That's so beautiful. But yeah. Right? You got a wife. I'm not, like I said, don't think I'm talking about my dad, because I'm not, right? I'm just talking about in general, right? Because it sounds like I'm just targeting the father figure. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just giving you an example of what it can do to you. You have a wife, right? But when you get home from work, you eat, and you fall on the couch, and you got no energy to pour into her, right? Even if you wanted to, you couldn't even get up and help her, right? You couldn't even get up, have sex with her. You couldn't even get up, right? Go to the gym with her, take her to a movie. You couldn't even do it. Because you fall asleep, because you stack your plate up to the roof. It's about to tip over, you stack it up so high, right? You acting like it's Thanksgiving every dang day. And look, you ain't supposed to overeat no day, so Thanksgiving ain't an excuse. But y'all know how people usually be stacking their plate on Thanksgiving. You acting like it's Thanksgiving every dang day, every night, bro. Can't pour into your kids, can't pour into your wife. You useless. The food got you useless, bro. The food took you out. It wasn't porn, it wasn't the weed, it wasn't the vape, it wasn't the Hennessy. It was the god dog and fried chicken that took you out. Yes, it was. It was the god dog and fried chicken that took you out. And here's what's deep. Now, I don't know if this second thing I'm going to talk about is gluttony. But before we transition to the next thing I'm going to talk about, I just want to say, if this is you, and like I said, I was giving a person with a wife and who got kids as an example. But I'm saying anything you do, if you ain't got enough energy to get stuff done, I ain't saying like, let's say you like got some pizza or something, and for a little bit after you ate, you ain't trying to do a bunch of like movement. Like, I understand that, but I'm talking about like, you eat and you fall straight asleep every time because of how much you overeating. You ain't getting nothing done. The only thing you do is get up to get more food. And like I said, that's an extreme. But look at the symptoms of overeating, bro. You know what God has shown me by changing my diet and not overeating every time I eat? First of all, I didn't even realize I was overeating until God showed me, Corey, eat till you're full, right? You know what helped me too? The sermon by Michael Todd, bro. He has a sermon on gluttony. And that's the first thing that really convicted me. I said, oh my gosh. And it took me a little bit to figure my body out and see what was eating just enough, not eating too little or not eating too much, right? And it might take a little bit for you. But I'm here to tell you, you might be somebody that overeats because you was taught to overeat. You know that you don't have to finish your plate every time, right? That's a part. First of all, that's not like, if you, let's say you got some, you went to, like I said, let's say you went to Cane's or something, right? And we're gonna talk about your diet. I think is that what I was gonna talk about? I think that's what I was gonna talk about, the diet. We're gonna talk about your diet in a second, right? But if you order a Caniac from, let's say you get a box combo from Cane's. Let's say your dad buy you a box. No matter of fact, it's better like this. Let's say your mama cook you a plate of food, right? Got some grilled chicken. Got some fried chicken. You know how they be. Greens, mac and cheese. You know how it be. Mashed potatoes with 2 rolls on the side. I'm getting hungry. Hold on. Let me chill out, right? Right? You know you don't gotta finish the plate. You're supposed to eat until you full, bro. Not until your plate finished. Now, if you finish the plate, and you can go and get more if you ain't full, but that's the only reason why, that's the only time you're supposed to finish your plate, is when you ain't full yet, right? But a lot of times, your plate will be more than enough food, right? Especially if you eat out these days. You go to Cheesecake Factory, there's a 99.9% chance you ain't gotta finish that whole plate, right? Because they be giving you them large portions, right? they trying to cure. Hey, I don't know what's up with Cheesecake Factory. They probably throw away as much food as they cook, right? I'm joking. Maybe I'm right, but like I said, that's debatable. I don't know, but I can't tell you. Like I said, I was just saying that. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, right? You change that mindset. I had to change it because I was taught. Like I said, not nothing. No shot against my parents or the people that I grew up with. But I was taught that, right? Finish your plate, and that throwing food away is like bad. And that kind of contributed to, but like I said, even if I was taught that still doesn't mean, right? Overeat every time. But you know what also happened to me? I grew up running the food because my parents always had a lot of food in the pantry, right? I don't know if your house like that too, but I grew up running to food for comfort. I'm keeping 100. I ran to porn and I ran to food. And then when I got older, you know what got added. You know what happens when you get older. You start running to girls and you start running to drugs, right? If right? Yeah, because in this generation it's cool to be a drug head. Yeah, that's like makes you cool to kill yourself with drugs. That's who they idolize. That's who these people put as their background of their Instagrams. Juice WRLD. You know how many people got Juice WRLD as the background of their Instagram, bro? Why are we paying homage to a dude that killed himself with drugs? Y'all the reason why he did it, because y'all kept praising him. Nobody was trying. Like, I ain't saying nobody was trying to help him, but y'all was over here now. Y'all wasn't trying to stop this dude. It seemed like y'all was buying his concert tickets, cheering him on while he was killing himself, right? That's what was happening. And now you're gonna put him as your. Now you're gonna act like he went down as a legend. Oh yeah, almost like he Jesus or something, right? But he died. He ain't come back to life. Why? Because he was a human, and there is an afterlife, right? And I hope he in heaven. But by the fruit, I can't say he is, right? Now, he could have been like the dude dying as a Jesus on the cross. He could have at the last minute been like, you know what? I tried everything, Jesus. I'm right. You never know what happened, right? I ain't God, so I ain't gonna say you in hell, but right? And like I said, you see what happens. This is why this is why I like that verse in Ecclesiastes that I just preached. In Ecclesiastes, I think chapter 12, where he talks about remember God and honor God, right? Don't wait till you get old to do it. Remember him while you're young. And one of the verses says, remember him while the caper berries still inspire sexual desire. And he's talking about your ding-a-ling, right? It's true, right? Don't put off God. Don't, right? Ooh, I'm slipping. Anyways. That might have been inappropriate. Y'all know what I'm pro. It's a mature video, okay? Anyways, but like I was saying, that's a prime example of what it's like when you wait, when you try to live your whole life without Jesus. It's gonna look like like I said, we're getting off of that dude. We're just right in general, right? But anyways, back to gluttony, right? Yeah, so you know what God told me in a dream? I'm pretty sure it was God. I'm starting to be like, are these dreams God? Or are these dreams let's take a long one. Or are these dreams me in my own head? Now I know for sure some of them had to be God. Ain't no way all these dreams is me in my own head. Cause some of the stuff that God showed me had me crying in my closet. because of how deep of a revelation. Hold on 1 second, right? 1 second. Nah, I'll just wait, hold on. Anyways. But you know what he told me in a dream? It's almost like God was telling me, Corey, if you don't get your knife and fork together, you're not gonna be able to be a good husband. You're not gonna be able to that's the main thing he was telling me. You're not gonna be able to. It's almost like God was like, if you get the knife and fork together, then maybe I can consider giving you a girl, bro. But until right now, you ain't going, bro. You can't, bro. Your life is a series of using food for comfort and eating till you can't get nothing done. That's why it says in Proverbs. Oh, I got a Bible. Don't think this is just like me, just one of them sermons where nobody used Bible. No, I got a Bible to support this. In Proverbs, it says, do not feast with gluttons. It says, do not, right? With gluttons and drunkards. For too much sleep leaves them in, right? Clothes them in rags. They are on their way to poverty. Look at the verse I'm talking about. That is in the Bible, bro. Yeah, the Bible says. Oh, there's a lot of verses that talk about gluttony, right? And you know what's the opposite of being you know what's the opposite of overeating? The opposite. Fasting. See, you know what I've started realizing? There's a lot of there's certain sins where people just almost they like belittle and trivialize it so hard. Like some I think about are gossip. People trivialize that joint so hard. Hey, call out somebody for gossiping, they'll look at you crazy. Like, what do you mean? I'm just telling them about what happened. But no, but you gossiping. Oh, but catch somebody smoking weed, then we sound the alarm. Then we saying he a false prophet. Then we saying he living in sin. And then we saying he a drug addict. Then we saying, oh, don't go to his church no more. Don't listen to him preach. Don't listen to his music no more. Oh my gosh. Oh, you know what another sin is? Gluttony. Yeah. People act like, bro, you know how many preachers they come on the pulpit with they came in with they pants with the belt unbuckled, right? They can't even buckle their pants because of how big of a pot belly they got. Not because they just got a body type that's just a little bit bigger than other people. No, it's because they go to KFC after every single day of work. They rotate KFC, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, and Cane's, right? Addicted to fried chicken, right? And that goes to the next thing we're gonna talk about, right? But like I said, in general, just make sure you're eating. You're not living to eat, but you're eating to live, right? That's a good way to put it. I've heard somebody say it like that. Make sure you're not living to eat, but you're eating to live. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little. Let's go and get some ice cream. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. I'm saying don't, right? Don't treat food like a drug, which is what gluttons do, bro. That's why they eat to the point where they can't get nothing done. That's why, right? It's because they consistently eating past the point they need to, right? To where now they're just abusing the food, right? I used to do that. Oh, I used to go to Cane's. My body only needed a 3-finger combo, maybe a box combo. But no, I'm getting the Caniac. Why? Cause I'm planning how I'm gonna eat to the point where I fall asleep, and I'm gonna turn on Zoe. Oh, this 2016. I'm gonna turn on Zoe 101. Y'all remember Nickelodeon? I'm gonna turn on iCarly, Zoe 101. I'm a fake sick. Y'all remember? That's how you know I was a kid, right? I'm a fake sick. And come on and say, I'm sick. And then I'm gonna come home, get the big Caniac, big dinner sweet tea, fall asleep on the, right? Planning how I'm gonna fall asleep, right? With Zoe 101 popping, right? The rerun of Zoe 101. And then I'm probably gonna wake up. I ain't gonna get into detail about all the sin I'll do, but you know I was living in sin, so right, the rest of the day was filled with sin too, but right? I done wasted, right, 3 hours of my day taking a dang extended, this ain't no nap, right? Ain't no wrong sometimes, just, right, just being like, and right, getting some Z's, right, to catch up, right? But, and like I said, that's a whole nother, I don't know the psychology behind catching up on Z's. I'm pretty sure they said, like, that you should just continue a sleep schedule if there's a night you didn't get a lot of sleep. I don't know. Like I said, that's between you and your body. But I'm saying, right? This wasn't no nap. This wasn't no 30 minute, maybe 45, maybe hour nap. Did it like I came home at 5, overeat, woke up at 7:30, and then right, here's what gluttons do. You go back to eat. You know, okay, I'm not hungry enough. You like I can't stuff down. I can't stuff down another Caniac, but I'm gonna go to the pantry and get my Oreo cookies. Oh my God. And here's what's deep. I wasn't fat, bro. I was skinny compared to a lot of people, right? So I'm here to break it to you. And like I said, when I talked about the preacher that couldn't even bucket their belt because of how much KFC they getting, like I said, you can be a glutton, like I'm about to describe. I was just giving you an example of how many of me personally thinking. They're thinking that there might be a lot of preachers that got a problem with a knife and fork, but if we caught them with a bottle of Hennessy in their car, then we talk about you can't preach no more. But if we track their movements and see that they go to KFC and Popeyes 4 times a week, And then we watched them at home and seen these dudes falling asleep with the 8-piece from KFC and Drew on their lip with dang right with the Cosby's playing. I don't even think they air the Cosby no more, right? But right, you falling asleep 8 o'clock, you ain't getting nothing. You know, hey, that's why in a verse in Proverbs it says they are headed to poverty. Too much sleep clothes them in rags. Because do you know how much stuff? Hey, you know how much I get done now that I'm not a glutton, bro? It's almost like I got double the time, bro. Cause not only am I not falling asleep for 3 hours during, right? But I got enough energy. I got enough energy to actually do stuff that I wouldn't have enough energy to do if my belly was full of Cane's, Oreo cookies, right? Oh, don't get me started on the soda. Oh my God. Oh, don't get me started on the soda, right? Oh my gosh. Y'all, hey, I used to, I wasn't fat, right? I was skinny. But people used to know me, I used to be in high school and middle school. You know how there used to be like public locker rooms? So like, it's like the men would like, after PE class, you know how it be. All the dudes change into their school clothes and after, y'all know how it be. There was one day, we went swimming or something. And I was joking. I was like, I'm pregnant, look. And I stuck out my pot belly. Because I was one of them skinny dudes with a big old pot belly. But somehow I still had, somehow I still was super fast, super athletic. You know, hey, you know, I can name y'all some NBA players who got pot bellies, right? I ain't gonna name drop because I ain't trying to do that, right? I was about to say his name, but come on, stop, because you don't sound like you doing nothing. But yeah, I know. I can name drop a couple. Y'all know what players I'm thinking of. They got pot bellies, but like shouldn't. And you know the only reason why you got pot bellies is because you ain't eating right probably, and you eating too much, right? How much better would they be if they didn't have pot bellies? They probably would be able to play defense. Y'all might be like, cool, you talking about James Harden. No, I'm not, bro. Y'all just weird, bro. I'm literally joking. I wasn't. I'm talking about in general. Anybody, right? That's just a dude that came to my mind that y'all know he's known for not playing that good of it. I haven't watched him recently. I don't, like I said, am I saying he's not good at defense? No, I'm just saying, y'all know how he's known for that. That's the only reason why I said his name. Not because I'm thinking of him. I just making a joke. Anyways, like I said, he's a good player. I don't be examining his body. Maybe he don't got a pot belly. Maybe he got a 6-pack. I don't know about James Harden. That was just right. Like I said, that was just right. People gonna get so mad at me. Corey said James Harden got a pot belly. No. I said I wasn't talking about him. I said the only reason why I brought him up is because he's known for, people think he's known for not playing great defense. Okay, that's the only reason. Dang, bro. Can't say nothing on here, right? I'm joking. Anyways, yeah, but like you seen them athletes with pot bellies. Oh, just look at D linemen, O linemen, a lot of linebackers and stuff like that too. Cause like I said, football you only gotta be right. You ain't running up and down the court. You just right. You play for 5. You getting if you an O lineman, it says ready, set, hut. You block, then you rest for 5 minutes, right? Then you blah for 30 seconds, then you rest for 5 minutes. Then you blah for 15 seconds. Them dudes, right? Them dudes there's probably a lot of football players that got a problem with knife and fork. And a lot of people think that you gotta eat a lot to get swole. It's between swole and fat. I mean, for real. I mean, if you fat and you just happen to get a little cut while you fat, doesn't change the fact that you still got a lot of body weight that you don't need, right? But like I said, that's a whole debate. I don't really know about. We're gonna keep this biblical, right? Because that's one thing I'm sure about. It's the Bible, right? Listen. So yeah, so going on, like I said, maybe I was totally wrong about body weight and getting swole, eating a lot. Like I said, listen to this though. This is what I'm sure about, right? show y'all the view. This is what I'm sure about, right? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, here's the next thing. Your eating habits too. And look, y'all might be like, Corey, why are you making a whole video on eating? Maybe some of y'all might be thinking that. Just stick to John Jesus. Just stick to telling people about Jesus. You talking about eating all this? This doesn't even know what you talking about. Bro, y'all know, bro, we eat 3 times. Most people eat 3 times a day, bro. It probably more, right? If you throw in the snacking. Because, you know, like I said, a lot of people watching this probably don't even realize that they overeat. I didn't realize until Michael Todd revealed it to me, literally. Until God used Michael Todd with the Holy Spirit to show me, Corey, you a glutton, bro. You're not supposed to be eating until you fall asleep. You're not supposed to be eating to where you can't have no energy to do nothing the rest of the day. You're not supposed to be eating, right? I'm not saying you should be able to play a basketball game right after you. I'm not saying you should be that it should be like you eat a meal and then you can go on a marathon right after. But you shouldn't be so you shouldn't be so stuffed with food that you're useless the rest of the day, basically, right? And then right when your body's right, 4 hours later when your body kind of digesting it and it's trying to, you running back to the pantry to stuff your body even more. That's how I used to live, right? You know how many people are millionaires and probably billionaires that are gluttons, right? And how much more would they be able to get done? And you know how many people in general, how much more would you be? You'd probably be, you'd be a better father. You'd be a better husband. You'd be a better athlete. I'm talking to everybody who got a problem with knife before. And look, I get it, bro. In 2025, bro, the food... Oh yeah, there's never been a time where food hasn't been better, basically, and more accessible, right? Let's keep 100, bro. We got Uber Eats, we got all these crazy fancy restaurants opening up every day. It seems like a new dang restaurant, new fried chicken, right? I remember when Chick-fil-A first started popping, boy. When I was a glutton, I ate Chick-fil-A probably 5 times a week. And if I had my own bank account, I would have been eating it 3 times a day, right? But I was relying on my parents to take me, right? Oh, yeah. You remember when Chick-fil-A first started popping on? That thing was like, right? Food. You can kill yourself. Bro, I'm telling you, a lot of y'all, like I said, Hennessy ain't your problem. I ain't gonna say it again, right? Now, like I said, let's transition to the thing I've been hyping this up, but here's the next thing we're gonna bring up. Your diet, right? I want you to go for, if your diet is something similar to how my diet was, don't do this. Stop. She can't understand me, but I'm pulling the leash, so I just have a habit of just saying something. Just cause right? Cause I think before I speak, but if it's a dog, like I ain't gonna be sitting there calculating what I'm gonna say before I speak, right? Cause they can't even understand me anyways. But so it just comes out of me like I'll be like, oh, don't do that. But I know she can't understand me. Anyway, listen. If your diet is something how my diet was, let me tell you how my diet was in 2018. It was a rotation of my school food, but at my school, I would eat the most unhealthy options, right? And that was out of the options that were healthy, right? Because my school was like one of them college prep schools, top 50 in the nation. Like I said, I got into the top 5 school in the nation, chose not to go there, but chose to go to a school that was basically ranked just as high. When like top 50, if you top 50, then right, then just because you might be ranked a little bit higher, your school might be actually better. Because at that point, it's just opinion, right? But yeah, I chose to go to because I live in Texas and my parents are physicians and we had a bunch of money and my parents are super smart. Like if your parents are doctors and you this skin color and you don't gotta get no scholarship, you just. And you in Texas where all the best schools are, basically? Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, and your sister, bro, your sister went to basically the best all girls, went to one of the top schools, and she already in the system basically. So they're looking at your sister thinking, okay, well his sister over here about to graduate from this top school that we know about. So yeah, so I got in. Yeah, I got in. But it smell like cigarettes. Let's come over here. It smell like dang, somebody smoking us. But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, if your diet was like anything, how my diet was, and like I said, my diet was my cafeteria food, eating the worst things there that I can get. And then it was a rotation of Cane's, Chick-fil-A, Cane's, Chick-fil-A, Cane's, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's occasionally, pizza. Oh yeah, Fridays consistently pizza. That literally, my house literally does that on Fridays. Pizza, right? Pizza night. Nah, they don't do it no more because they understand I ain't. But Fridays, pizza night. Every night, New York style pizza, right? So every Friday, big old pizza, right? And then the condiments, ranch. If your diet is, like I said, I wouldn't eat no fruit. The only time I'd eat fruit, like I wouldn't even know where to get fruit. I don't think I ate fruit. It was fried chicken, pizza, burgers, French fries, fried food, and candy, and soda, and Gatorade. That was my diet. And bro, I was a whole athlete. I played select basketball. I played football, soccer, and I played football, basketball, and track at my school, and I'm eating like this. If your diet is anything similar to what my diet sounds like, I'm here to break it to you. Maybe God's calling you to change it. God. Like I said, maybe he not. Maybe he cause like I said, I ain't gonna tell you something the Bible don't tell you. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible does say whether you eat or drink, do it all for the glory of God, right? So if you consciously know that what you eating is jacking you up, but like I said, maybe you didn't understand, because I didn't understand, right? I thought that was just how everybody ate, right? Literally. I didn't know that people actually consistently ate salads, fruit, and I didn't know that they did that because they get more energy and because it's better for their body, right? I thought people was just weird. That's why I thought people ate salads. I thought people just had weird taste buds or something. And some people do just, I guess, like salad. And here's what's deep. Eating healthy actually does taste better a lot of, my bad, sheep opinion. Eating healthy actually does taste better a lot of the time, right? Yeah, it actually does. Yeah, it's a lie from the enemy that you can't eat healthy and it tastes good, right? That's a lie from the enemy, I found out. But like I said, I'm about to head back to my house. Let me just say it like this. If you're somebody whose diet is fried chicken, fried food, bunch of junk food, I want you to go, just give me 2 weeks and incorporate fruit, eat fruit, lean meats, nuts. You can have an occasional, like some heavy, right? And make sure you don't overeat. And see how much differently. And I literally talked to somebody who started eating different when they see how I ate, right? See the difference it makes. Energy levels. Even how you look, bro. You're probably gonna lose weight. Because you probably don't need all that weight in the first place. It's probably because you're eating KFC Now, let me stop, right? Because like I said, it's not a sin to eat a certain way. But it is a sin if you don't do something for the glory of God. Anyways, hopefully this video on gluttony helped y'all. Make sure food ain't holding you back. And make sure you ain't sinning with food. Okay?